Straight sword hilt. This item is found in your right hand when you create a new character. The item description states that the hilt of this lost sword was found discarded in the undead asylum, only slightly better than one's hands and not recommended for extensive use. Be certain to find a replacement quickly. Style points, like, actually, what do you want me to say? 0. Obviously, it looks like a low quality can opener. Shockingly, this can be upgraded to plus 10 and later ascended with the Soul of Sif to make the uncursed variant of the Great Sword of Artorias. Broken Straight Sword. This typically drops from any hollow enemy as well as sword-wielding infested ghouls with a 2% drop rate. The item description states that half of the blade of this straight sword is broken off. Only the complete hollowed would even consider using this as a weapon. For style points, still obviously 0. I'm pretty sure I'd need a tetanus shot if this thing touched me. Just like the straight sword hilt, this can be upgraded to plus 10 and ascended with Sif's soul to make the uncursed great sword of Artorias. Short sword. This is obtained as starter equipment for the hunter class. It drops from sword wielding hollows, or you may purchase it from the male undead merchant for 600 souls. The item description states that this is a small straight sword and is widely used, to an extent only matched by the longsword. An accessible sword which inflicts consistent regular damage and high slash damage, making it applicable to a variety of situations. For style points, being the first real sword on this list, I feel the need to give it a 4 or a weak 5. It just looks sorta neat. It's a pretty comfy weapon, although the main drawback is within the name. Its reach is a bit short. Broadsword. This is obtained as starter equipment for the knight class or purchased from Andre of Astora for 1000 souls. The item description states that the wide blade of this straight sword emphasizes slicing and has no thrust attack. The horizontal sweeping motion makes this sword effective against multiple enemies. For style points, I'll have to give this one a 5 or a weak 6 because it's definitely a bit nicer than the short sword. Look at it. Despite this sword's deceptively small model and short range, it has the highest damage of all infusible straight swords. Drake sword. This is obtained by cutting off the tail of the Hellkite wyvern in the Undead Burg. The item description states that this sword, one of the rare dragon weapons, is formed by a drake's tail. Drakes are seen as undeveloped imitators of the dragons, but they are likely their distant kin. The sword is imbued with a mystical power to be released when held with both hands. For style points, this doesn't jump in points just because it's somewhat useful. It's still like a 5. I think it looks good as a decoration in a hotel lobby, but not as a weapon in my hand, you know? I think we all learned about tail cuts around this guy or the gargoyles. And maybe the real Drake sword was the tail cuts we made along the way, huh? Dark sword. This is obtained by reaching rank 2 in the Dark Wraith Covenant. The item description states that this sword belongs to the Knights of the Four Kings of New Londo. Its blade is wide and thick and it is wielded in an unusual manner. When the Four Kings were seduced by evil, their knights became Dark Wraiths, servants of the dark who wielded these dark swords. For style points, this is like a 9 for me. I love the shape. It's just a beautiful weapon, and I could imagine how this would feel to wield. The only thing that leaves me a bit wanting is the color, but then I guess it wouldn't really be a dark sword anymore, huh? I accidentally put the Dark Souls 3 version of the weapon in a thumbnail, but I dare you to Google Dark Sword and find one good image of it from Dark Souls Remastered. Stoas Straight Sword. This is obtained right in front of the undead dragon in the Valley of the Drakes. The item description states that this is a straight sword of an unknown knight, likely one of Astora's superiors. It is a high quality weapon with a powerful blessing. For style points, I'll say this is like a 7 for me. It looks elegant and functional. It doesn't make me scream, but like a nice hatchback car, I'd always smile when I see it. Do you know what happens if you equip this weapon during your meeting with Guinevere in Anor Londo? No, like seriously, I'm asking because I'm always distracted in there. Barbed straight sword. This is obtained as a possible drop from Kirk, Knight of Thorns, in any of his 3 encounters. The item description states that this is the choice weapon for the infamous Dark Wraith Kirk, also known as the Knight of Thorns for the gnarly spikes on his favorite weapon. This frightful sword deals only thrust attacks and causes heavy bleeding. For style points, it's kinda ugly, right? I'll give it a 3. It deals relatively low damage, but it is the only straight sword that inflicts bleed. Longsword. This is obtained as starting equipment for the warrior. It has a 2% drop rate from sword and shield wielding hollows, or it is purchased from Andre of Astora for 1000 souls. The item description states that this is a widely used standard straight sword, only matched in ubiquity by the short sword. An accessible sword which inflicts consistent regular damage and high slash damage, making it applicable to a variety of situations. For style points, I'll give this a 6 because I like it more than the short sword. It's probably the first sword most people imagine themselves with in a fantasy world setting. I must have been tired of seeing the term straight sword to just call this one straight sword, but again, this was a long sword, not just straight sword. Balder Side Sword. This is obtained as a 1% drop rate from Balder Knights with shields. The item description states that the Knights of the ancient kingdom of Balder wielded these rock-solid longswords, which are excellent for thrust attacks. Balder was the home of Night King Rendal, but the kingdom was reduced to ruins after a widespread outbreak of undead. Style points, this is like a 7. While it isn't perfect, the shape of it makes me feel like I could do some teleporting thrust attacks like Brook from One Piece. With a 1% drop rate, you can bet you'll probably be trying to get this for at least 20 minutes if you're not lucky. Silver Knight Straight Sword. This is obtained as a 2% drop rate from the Sword and Shield variant Silver Knights in Anor Londo. The item description states that the Silver Knights of Anor Londo guard the city using this beautifully slender weapon. Its chain attacks, in which the wielder takes great advancing steps and makes use of his body weight, are deadly even in single hits. Style points, this thing is a 10 out of 10 for me. This thing is beautiful. My god. I'd farm so hard if I had one of these bad boys on an adventure. This sword originally had a divine modifier, but later game patches removed it and made the weapon enchantable instead. Sunlight Straight Sword. I strongly urge you not to abandon your humanity by trying to get this weapon, but you'd get it from killing Solar of Astora during any encounter with him. The item description states that this standard longsword, belonging to Solar of Astora, is of high quality, well forged, and has been kept in good repair. Easy to use and dependable, but unlikely to live up to its grandiose name. Grandiose? Style points, 0 out of 10. Even the item description states that the sword belongs to Solar. Don't you dare. This has been described as a long sword but slightly stronger, albeit a bit slower. Crystal Straight Sword. This is obtained from Dom Hall of Xena for 4000 souls, or it has a 3% drop rate from undead crystal soldiers in the Duke's archives. The item description states that this is a fully crystallized straight sword. How such a weapon was created is entirely unknown. The crystallization boosts its attack but makes the blade brittle. The sword cannot be used for long as it cannot be repaired. Style points, I'll give this piece of crap a 2. If you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, this thing is honestly not very identifiable. It actually just looks like part of a big chandelier or something. If it didn't have the cool blue color, I'd have probably rated it lower. Apparently, seeing this weapon in PvP was something to be spooked by back in the day. There's a hacked version of this weapon that does roughly 900 damage per swing while held in one hand. Good thing there are parry gods that would stop that from mattering, huh? Thank you for watching.